Good afternoon, children. For today's session, we are going to start with the Excel. We had already started with the Excel basics in the last session. The video had been uploaded. I hope all those of you who had missed the session have taken advantage of the video recording and are all set for today's class. Are we good to go? I need a quick response in the chat, please. Yes, okay. So to begin with, I'll just refresh what we learned in the last class. I'm opening my file. Okay. So an active cell L4 or L7, whichever cell you want. The corresponding column and the corresponding row intersection is your active cell. Is this seen now? Quick reply. Yes, fine. Okay. To proceed further, today we are going to know or learn how to make entries for the formulas in an easy way. For example, let's say I want to make a result of every student, okay? And I want to know along with that what is the total of a particular student for the entire term or the exam. So how will I do it? As I mentioned to you earlier, every formula starts with an equal to sign, correct? So wherever you are expecting the results, in that active cell, you are going to put equal to, click on the cell which holds the data, okay? So now I want to know my own total, so I've put an equal to sign. I want the total starting from this cell, so I will click over there, put a plus sign, go to the next cell, click over there, again put a plus sign, click on the next cell, and so on till you reach the last cell. Plus sign, click on the cell, hit enter, you will get your total automatically. Can you all see also the formula is being displayed in the formula bar on top? Clear? Have you all followed how to manually calculate the total formula? Yes or no? Quick reply in the chat, please. Okay, that's nice. So now, how will you apply this formula to the rest of the cells as well? I want this sum formula to be copied in the rest of the cells. I do not want to again do the same task of entering the entire formula by clicking on every cell for the second entry as well. So what is the easiest way I could do? I could just click on the first cell where the formula is already entered. And can you all see this small square coming at the end of the cell? That is called as the fill handler. Okay, you have to just drag by pulling it down until up till the cells where you want the sum to be calculated automatically. Is this clear so far? Have you all followed what I've done? Okay, there is a quick response. Nice. Now, this was the easiest method of automatically using the sum. This was manual entry of the formula. Now we are going to automatically enter the formula, making use of the sum function, which is already provided by Excel. Okay. Again, for that, what I need to do is the active cell where I need the result, I will place equal to sign. There is function under formulas. Under the menu formulas, you will find auto sum. Under auto sum, the first option is sum. Click on it. Can you all see this directly selecting the cells starting from the first entry to the last entry of the data. Is it seen by you all, children? Quick reply in the chat, please. Okay. Now, just hit enter and it will give you the total or the sum. Again, pull out the fill handler till the last entry and the sum will be automatically calculated and shown. Now, this is direct formula making use of the Excel functions, wherein we have made use of the first function, which is sum. Any doubts with the sum formula? Quick reply in the chat, please. Okay, there are no's in the chat. That means you all have followed. Very nice. Going ahead with the next formula. Again, under auto sum, you have average. Average from the first data till the last data entry. Hit enter. This is the average of the child, average marks that the child has got. Can you all see it calculating automatically? Quick reply in the chat, please. Okay. So similar to sum formula, you make use of the average formula. The first part is the same, wherein you will put equal to sign, then the function average, open parenthesis, okay. After opening the parenthesis, you will put the range. Now, what is a range? Range means it could be the cells that you want to add data from, okay. Range could be vertical one column, it could be horizontally going across like this. So the range starts from either D5 to D or D5 to I5, or the range could be D5 to D9. So it could be vertical, horizontal. Are you all getting up till here? Any doubts? What is the range? Range is a combination of cells. It could be from one column, it could be from more than one column, it could be from one row, or it could be from more than one row. See, when I say range, the first half of the formula over here equal to the formula that you want to calculate, parenthesis open. Inside parenthesis, what you provide is the range. If you have noticed over here, I'm not put in the individual cells like the previous formula. You'll remember the previous formula wherein I had just put equal to the first cell plus the second cell and every cell addition. Do you all remember this part? Yes or no? Quick reply. Yes. So, what is the advantage of formulas here? You don't have to go on selecting every cell and perform addition. You just give the range, the start of the cell till the end of the cell. So, when you say a range, it is only giving the start till the end, and in between is automatically coming into it. The colon specifies the in between cells. Is this part clear? Quick reply in the chat, please. Okay, fine. So have you all followed now how this automatic formulas are helping you better in a better way as compared to the manual formulas? No doubt manually also you will get the same answer, but when you give automatic formulas using the functions from Excel, it helps you in a way that you don't have to go on adding every cell. The range is calculating it automatically for you from the first cell to the last cell. You only have to know how to label the cells, or the first cell till the last cell, the naming has to be proper. Similarly, if I click on the next entry now, I had not put in any formula for this cell separately. I had only pulled out the fill handler from the first cell till the last cell, but it has automatically taken the range from D6 to I6. So D6 is this cell up till I6. So this entire cell range. Okay, starting from first cell till the next cell, again for this entry, and so on. Is this clear how to select a range? Quick reply in the chat, please. Okay. Similarly, going ahead with the next, then equal to count the numbers. Count how many numbers are there from the first entry till the last entry. The range is selected. Hit enter. It says there are 6. Are there 6? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's correct. Now, what if by mistake I have put an A over here instead of putting the marks? Does it change? Yes, it does. Have you all noticed it? Quick reply in the chat box, please. Okay. Similarly, when I pull it out, it will calculate it for the rest of the cells also, and the corresponding range is taken, D6 to I6. Can you see it here? Now, again, I'm changing it to some marks here and see the change. It will automatically update itself. So all care is taken when the formulas are auto-calculated. It just arranges the data for you. You do not have to keep remembering that you might have done a mistake here. It flawlessly calculates and tells you. Okay, going ahead, the next formula. Maximum from the first cell till the last cell. Maximum is 100. Is that correct? Yes, it is. Again, the rest of the cells are automatically populating the data based on the first cell that I have pulled. So the formula is automatically adjusting itself. In the second row, the highest mark score is 92. Third row, the highest is 96. Next, it is 97, followed by 99. Okay, again, I'm changing the formula now. Min. Minimum. The next is minimum. So minimum minimum marks that a person has scored. 65 in the first case. Again, 21 in the second, 45 in the third, 56, which is again correct, and 25. Any doubts with this formulas up till here? Quick reply in the chat, please. No doubts. Okay. Very nice. Now, I had shown you what is count. Now, a slight change in the formula, which is count A. So, I'll go ahead and use count formula first. The same count formula, if I append A to it, count A. If I say count A, just notice the change, okay? It says there are 6 entries. It has counted and it has given the result that there are 6 entries. Again, like previous, what if I happen to enter a text here? Have you all noticed a change here? Can anybody tell me what is happening, or rather what is the difference between count A and count? what is the difference between count A and count? Anybody can unmute and tell me what is the difference that you all felt. Just notice this. I'll use count here for you. What is the difference between count A, which shows 6, and count, which shows 5? One of you all, please unmute yourself and tell me.
In count, it's count only a number,
Okay,
and count A, it's count all the boxes.
okay. See, when you say count A, right, it will take whatever data is there, whether it is text or number. But when you say count, it takes only the number. That is the difference. Clear? Have you all followed it now? See, the moment I change this letter to some number, it will update. Can you all see it becoming 6 now? So now both are same. Okay? Have you all followed the difference between count and count A? Quick reply. Okay, okay, fine, fine. Good, Sunaina. Very nice. Okay. So that completes the Excel formulas in your syllabus. Are you all clear with all the formulas that were taught? Sum, average, count, max, and mean. Mean, and apart from that, count A. So 6 formulas have been taught. Any doubts with the 6 formulas that have been covered so far? Have you all followed all the 6 formulas thoroughly? It's yes or no? Okay, okay, fine, fine. Thank you. So let's go ahead and see the presentation first before we proceed with the next. So today's class, we began with workbooks and worksheets. We opened the workbook that we created in the last class. Okay. From the workbook, we started with our worksheet. In the last class, already I had taught to you what is a cell, how the cell is marked in the name box, how you can find the cell address, how manually you can locate which cell you have clicked on to, correct? Then moving ahead with the worksheet, the vertical scroll, horizontal scroll bar. What is an active cell? What is the address of the cell? We saw what is range today. So as I mentioned to you, range is nothing but a group of cells. Range in Excel can be cells in one column. For example, B3 to B8. Similar example was shown in the formulas that we saw today. Or it could extend in one row, that is from A3 to G3, or with several columns and rows together. A combination of several rows and columns together can also be applied for a range. For example, like this. It could be one column like this. Range could be defined in one column, one row, or a combination of column and rows. Then we saw what is format. This was covered in the last class. Today we completed all the formulas, all the formulas to calculate the values based on the data from the cells. Now, the next, what we are going to learn today is the referencing. In Excel, there are 3 types of references. The first one is called as the relative reference. When we say relative reference, it is a reference to the relative position of the cell that contains the formula and the cells to which it refers. Whenever you change the position of the cell that contains the formula also changes, and by default the new formulas would use the relative reference. For example, if you copy a relative reference one cell down, it will automatically change from equal to A1 to equal to A2. Now, in simple terms, when we say relative reference, what happens in Excel? Just notice what I'm doing over here. A simple formula to demonstrate what is relative referencing. In this cell, I'm trying to get data from cell D5. So what should be the data? Tell me quickly. 98. Very nice. That's correct. So now how to get it automatically? I will put equal to and just click on the cell of whose data I'm expecting in cell J5 and hit enter. I will notice what I've put up over here. I've just pressed equal to and the cell name. The name of the cell is D5 of whose data I'm expecting in J5. Hit enter, the data would come automatically. Let's say I want to do the same for rest of the cell. So I'm just dragging the fill handler down. So it auto fills the data. This which you are seeing, right? Automatically it copies and fills the rest of the cells is termed as auto fill. Automatically it is filling, so it is auto fill. So if you have noticed, in every cell, the corresponding D column entries are copied. Over here it should be D7, over here it should be D8, and over here data from D9. Fine. If you notice in the formula bar, it is showing you equal to D5. Now, if I am trying to make use of absolute referencing or relative referencing, you have to understand the basics, that is, what is relative referencing first. So, let's say in the cell K5, I want the data relative to data in J5. So, I will say equal to J5. So in K5, I'm getting data relative to J5. So whatever data is there in J5, I've got it relative in K5. So it is same, right? Are you all understanding it so far? In J5, I have got data relative to D5. So whatever data was here, I have copied it in J5. Similarly in K5. So this is relative. So far, am I clear on this? So relative to the cells, the data will be copied. Okay. Now comes the twist. Let's say I put a dollar sign. Just notice this change. I have put a dollar sign before D, before 5. Okay. People, just notice the change over here. I'm putting up relative referencing over here and absolute referencing over here. Okay. Now, in relative referencing, what has happened? I have said data from cell D5, which is this cell, and then I have pulled the fill handler to auto fill the rest of the entries. So whatever entries are here in this D column will be copied into the K column. Okay, so relative to the first, it is copying in the next. The moment I say absolute, absolute will make it hard coded, means you are not able to change the data anymore. I do not relative will change as per the relative cell from where you have chosen the data. So it keeps changing the data as per the first entry from where you have chosen the relative cell to be. But absolute, it is going to make it rigid. It is not going to change the entries further on because you have locked it by placing a dollar sign before the column and the row. Am I clear now? Yes or no? Okay. Now, coming back to the third mode, we have finished what is relative, we have finished what is absolute reference. Absolute will not change, whereas relative will automatically change the data. The next is mixed reference, which is an absolute reference to column and relative to the row, or it could be absolute to the row and relative to the column. Now, when you read from here, it will sound a bit difficult, but when you see it practically, it will be very easy for you. Absolute, relative, and mixed. From the name itself, it is telling you that it can either lock the row or the column. So let's see what we are going to do here. So we'll first lock the column. What has happened? We have locked the column. So the column is going to remain D only, whereas row is not locked. There is no dollar sign before 5. So it keeps updating itself. So the first is absolute reference to the column, and the second is relative to the row. See, in the mixed, what happens? The dollar sign is given only to the column. So the column is locked. The row is not given a dollar sign. So it is relative. The first one is absolute reference. The second one is relative reference. Now, if I change the other way around, if I say cell is D5, but now I'm changing the dollar sign's placement to row. Column is not freezed, but row is freezed. Just notice the change. What has happened? Column is not freezed. So column keeps changing, but the row is freezed. So it will be in this row only. Are you understanding? So in the first case, we had freeze the column and the row was free. In the second case, we have freezed the row, the column is free. Now, what if we freeze both? It will be back to absolute reference then. Is this part clearly understood, people? Absolute reference, relative reference, and the mixed mode. Any doubts? Anybody? Any doubts? Yes or no? Quick reply in the chat. Okay, no doubts. Very nice. Coming up to the next, going ahead with the slide. So we have understood what is meant by relative, what is meant by absolute reference, and what is mixed. If you read through at the beginning, you will find it a bit confusing. So that is the reason I have shown it to you all practically. That helps you to know which referencing you're going to use and based on the need and where. Clear? The next is working with the workbook, how you are going to start a new workbook. This was already shown in the last class. Again, opening a workbook is exactly what we did today to open a file from the desktop. Close a workbook. Once you have finished working, you can just close your workbook by clicking on the close button, which you see here in the top right corner. Okay. Save a workbook. To save a workbook, I had again shown it to you all in the last class. Click on the file button, click on save option. Now this was already saved in the last class, so it won't again give me a file name pop up. So if I want to rename my file, I will go to save as option. Let's say I want to save it on the desktop. Now see here. Give the file name, the new file name. I've already saved my file with the name Maya. I do not want to change it. So I'm keeping it as it is. When you would be saving your file, you could save it at any other location, not necessarily the desktop. You could give any other location of your choice. For example, documents you could give, or any other folder within the document. Give the file name, proper file name, and click on save. Next. Then you have to know what is printing of a workbook. If you have a printer connected, this is when you will require to do the printing when you're making use of it for your official purposes. Okay, not as of now. You will have to go to file and go to print option. Then choose the printer, which printer is connected to your laptop or the PC that you're using. Then print the sheets that you want to print. Give the number of pages. You may want to print only one page, although the document is of 5 pages. The Excel sheet is of 5 pages. So you could give the number, which page you want to print from number 1 to number 2 or number 3. All those settings could be done here. Portrait orientation is the vertical paper that you're going to put. Portrait, sorry, is the horizontal paper position. You're going to place the paper horizontally. Okay. And the other one is the landscape, wherein you're going to put it vertically. No, sorry, it's reverse. Landscape is horizontally, portrait is vertical. Just make sure over here in the options, it shows portrait is vertical, landscape is horizontal. The placement of the paper, if it is placed vertically, it is portrait. If it is placed horizontally, it is landscape. Once you are done with it, just go ahead and click on the print over here, the final print button on top. Then you could add a worksheet to the existing sheets that exist. So I'll just show you how you can add the new sheet. I hope you all don't mind. I'll just take some more minutes, few minutes. Okay, to add a new sheet, you just have to click on this plus sign over here. It will add the new sheet to your existing workbook. Double click on that sheet 2 that you see over there to name your file and give it a new name. So if you're making a file for your class, you could say 9A. Again, I'm clicking on the plus sign to add a new sheet. Double click on the sheet name 9B. So this over here, 9th A, I will save a file for 9th A's use. 9th B, I will save a file for 9th B. Clear with adding new files, a new sheet to your existing file. Delete a worksheet. The next delete a worksheet is simple. Just come to the sheet, right click on the sheet. You will get the option to delete it. The sheet will go, just disappear. Okay. Rename a sheet, I've already taught you. You have to come to the sheet name, double click on the name and put the new name. That's all. Okay. Then move a worksheet, copy a worksheet. I will show this too. Move, copy, hide, unhide. See, to move a sheet from one place to another, come to the sheet as I have placed my cursor on 9th A, lift it and drop it where you want to place it. Let's say I want to place it after 9th B. So just drop it there. Are you all able to see? Are you all able to see that part? Have you all seen what I've done? Okay. See, just lift it. Click on the file name, lift it. You will see a page with a folded triangle. And then you could drop it wherever you want to place it. See, again I've changed, interchanged. Let's say I want to get it first. Pull it. I got it before my name. So I'll again pull it and drop it here. So I've made it first. Have you all noticed how to rearrange or move a sheet? Okay, fine. Hiding a sheet. Let's say I don't want 9th B data to be seen by anybody. I'll right click on the file, on the sheet, and say hide. That sheet will disappear. Okay. Now, see, you could also go to view and click on hide. The entire sheet, the entire worksheet list only becomes hidden. You can then click back on unhide. Then it is asking you which workbook you want to unhide. So I've given my name, file name, click on OK, the entire workbook will be visible. Again, to get back your hidden worksheet, click on unhide. It is showing me 9th B. Do you want 9B to be unhidden? I am saying yes. It would get back the 9th B. Have you all followed how to hide a sheet, how to hide a workbook, how to unhide a sheet, how to relocate your sheets, how to rearrange the sheets? Any doubts so far? Okay. Coming up to the next is entire summary of Excel basics. We have already mentioned that Excel is a software program that is included in the Office suite, which is basically used for all the data calculations. Okay, you could make use of the formulas, you could make use of the charts. Fine. Then the most important part over here, the extension of the Excel file is .xls. Now this extension means your file name .xls is the complete file name of your Excel file. So the first name could be anything, but the ending will be .xls. Okay. For example, your Word files will always end with .doc, doc, because it's a document. Excel files will end with .xls. Remember this. The next, what is a workbook? Entire workbook, which consists of worksheets. Tabs are at the bottom of the screen. The sheet in which you're currently working is your active worksheet. The cell has been explained multiple times. The basic unit in Excel. Active cell is the intersection, or rather, every cell is an intersection of a column with a row. The cell in which you're editing currently is the active cell. Then we have also seen what is meant by columns, what are the rows. Then what were the column headings? How are the row headings defined? What is a ribbon? What is cell reference? Cell reference is nothing but address of the cell. Range, what we have seen today. Then what is a merge cell? When two or more cells are combined, it's a merge cell. Formulas we have seen today. Operators are the symbols. For example, the plus sign. Formulas I've already explained to you all with example. Formula bar, which is there in your Excel. The functions, sum, average, mean, max, count. Cell formatting was shown in the last class. The entire cell can be formatted in terms of its width, in terms of its height. Again, I'll take it up today. Filters, this would be covered up in a separate session entirely, wherein you could give a rule to filter the data. Freeze the panes. Again, you could specify certain columns or rows to be visible on the worksheet. Autofill, what we have seen today, it will directly help you to copy data into more than one cell. Auto sum, what we just saw today, you just go on clicking the cell, entering the plus sign in the middle of the two cells. It will calculate the sum for you. Auto format, wherein there is a predetermined criteria which once matched, all the cells will copy the format. Data validation, pivot table, pivot chart, this comes with the charts. And lastly, you have advantages of Excel. The major advantage is that it helps you to enter data very fast. It is easy to apply any change to the data. Formula will automatically recalculate the result when the data changes, which we have seen today. Calculations are easy and accurate. Again, we have seen today, large amount of data can be handled very easily. And finally, data can be presented graphically through various charts. And now moving on to the charts here. As I mentioned before, charts are nothing but the pictorial representation of the data. When I say pictorial representation, what I mean is you can represent charts with the help of a picture. Depending upon the different types of charts, you could make use of the chart type. Now let's say I have the same file open. Somebody has unmuted. Please mute yourself, children. Okay, this was the file with the data. I'll just remove the formulas part of it. Okay, let's say before you start with the chart, select the range. Let's say this is the entire range of data that I have, for which I need to plot a graph. To go to graph, click on insert. Okay, once you click on insert, go to the chart type that you want. Let's say I want a pie chart. Can you all see this pie chart coming up? Depending on the data that you select, it will show you the chart. You could then make changes. If you want to change the color, you could change the fill of the color. If you want outline, you could give outline to your chart. Fine. Now, depending upon what sort of data you have to select the chart. You cannot just go on adding any type of chart in your list. Okay. So, see, when are you going to use a pie chart? When you want to quantify items and show them as percentages. So, whenever you have the necessity to show data in terms of percentages, you will use pie chart. The next chart is bar chart. When you want to compare the values across a few categories, the values will run horizontally. We'll see this type of chart. I'm deleting the pie chart first. Okay, again I'm selecting the data. The range is given. I'll go to insert and bar chart I want. This is bar chart, so I'll select the bar chart. See, it is showing me the bar chart wherein blue is myself, then orange is given to the second entry. Each one is given a designated color, and the performance can be evaluated in every subject with the help of chart. So when I say picture, are you getting the concept now? It's a picture representation of your data. And many a times picture representations are effective because quickly you can make out in which subject people are falling back. Are you understanding? Rather than this kind of data what you have here, right? It is difficult for me to locate. I have to literally do analysis. Whereas if I see a chart, I feel that becomes easier for me to find out in which subject people have got good amount of marks and in which subject they haven't. But that again depends on the need of the chart. You need to select relevant chart as per the need. Clear? Going ahead to the next type of chart. The next is the column chart. Whenever you want to compare values across a few categories, the values run vertically. The difference between the bar chart and the column chart would be bar chart, as I mentioned to you, runs horizontally, but column chart would run vertically. Clear? Let's plot the column chart now and see. Again, I'm going to insert menu. I'll go to column chart. See, the difference is these are verticals, whereas bar chart was horizontal. So in English, I have not got, or rather, I have got very good marks in English, but not in, which is this? Priya has not got good marks in English. Am I correct? Yes. See, so in this way, I could easily find it out who has got good hold of the subject, or rather which subject. Clear? Let's go to the next chart type. Next is the line chart. Again, data is selected. Go to the insert. Click on the line chart. See, line chart is basically the lines representation. So every child is associated with one line and the performance is marked onto the chart. Combo chart is a combination of the two, which is line and the column chart or the bar chart. There is a combo chart also. See, these are the different types of charts here. The last one is combo chart. Can you all see this combo chart coming up here? See, combination of column and the line chart together is the combo chart. Then I've mentioned to you all the importance of charts. It helps you to visualize data graphically. It is easier to analyze the trends and the patterns in the charts. Also easy to interpret compared to data in the cells. As I mentioned to you earlier, if you compare your marks in a tabular format, it becomes a bit difficult. You have to literally analyze. Whereas when you see it pictorially, it helps you in terms of remembering. Okay, let's say in English, I could see myself scoring higher than Priya. So I will remember it throughout. Till my last term, I may remember it easily if shown in pictorial view. Then I've given you all step-by-step example of how to create the chart. This PPT would be shared with you, so you could relax for now. Just look at it. Do not panic in terms of noting down the points. The entire PPT slides will be given to you, but make sure you complete your book with it. And if you have anything to ask, get back to me. Clear? So that's about the charts. And the last slide for today. The homework will be posted up in the Google Classroom. I've already shared the class code and updated it. So make sure you all are adding yourself to the Google Classroom as soon as possible. Still, some people have not got added. You have to only go to the Play Store, Google Play Store, and get yourself added to the class. Before I wind up today's session, I'll just show you another interesting feature that Excel gives you. See, when we say autofill, it is not only the formulas that are being autofilled, but there is an important help given to us. For example, if I say the year 1998 and I want to type from 1998 to, let's say, 2021, I just have to pull the fill handler down and it will automatically show me the rest of the years. How? Just click on this option, autofill options, fill series. Then whichever year you want, you just drag it and it goes on. Are you all noticing the change here? See, it will just go on. So you are not doing manual entry here. It will automatically fill all the entries for you. This is another major advantage of autofill. Similarly, you can even put up the timings. Let's say I want my timetable to be printed. So I'm giving the first class time as, let's say, 8 a.m. So 8 a.m. is the time of my first class. Again, I'm pulling the fill handler. Increase the width of the columns, otherwise it will show you hash. Is this seen by everybody? Have you followed what is taught today?
Yes.
Yes, teacher.
Yes, teacher.
Okay, and
Yes, teacher.
any doubts?
No, no, no.
No,
No,
teacher.
teacher.
No, teacher.
Okay. Is Excel impressive enough now?
Yes,
It
teacher.
helps.
Very.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
it helps. Yeah.
It not only auto fills the date, it also auto fills the time. Apart from helping you with the formulas, those are also auto filled,
Yeah.
auto calculated. Then it can help you to make your results also, right? Apart from
Yes.
that, it can
Yes,
also
teacher.
help you to do all sorts of formatting. You could put color, you could change the font color, you could increase the font size, you could decrease the font size, you could center a line, right? Just notice what I'm doing over here. This was
Yeah,
taught
teacher.
it was taught in the last class. Again, I'm repeating it for those who missed. See, now I'm beautifying the data by applying the different formats. I could make it bold if I want. Let's say this person has failed, so I'll underline it. That is also possible. Again, there is a failure, underline it again. So understanding how you can modify or beautify your data here.
Yes.
So that completes today's class. I hope everything that has been taught today is clear enough for you to
Yes,
understand.
teacher.
If
Yeah,
there
teacher.
Yes.
are
Yes, teacher.
okay. If there are any doubts, please get back to me. I would be
Yeah,
uploading
teacher.
this video of today's session. The link will be shared in your Google Classroom. The homework will be posted in Google Classroom itself. Apart from that, any other material with regards to today's session is going to be posted directly in your Google Classroom. So
Yeah,
take
teacher.
advantage of what is being taught, what has been shared with you. Stay safe, don't move around, stay at your home, take care of yourself, okay? And make sure you complete your books.